Hello and welcome to my world in a casual review. This week we're talking about Resident Evil 6 and let's get down to it. Number one, the controls. Thank goodness at this point in the franchise's history, Capcom, the development teams that they had working on Resident Evil 6, they got rid of the freaking tank controls. It's like you don't have a dedicated button to quickly turn around anymore. It's like you have free movement. Technically, you had free movement for the most part in Resident Evil 5, but with Resident Evil 6, if you find yourself with being surrounded or like you needed to turn around quickly, you had to press a dedicated button. Otherwise, you're going all the way around in a circle. Resident Evil 6, you have free reign. You don't have to press a button to turn around quickly. So it's like, thank goodness for that. All right, thank goodness. So that brings us to let's talk about inventory management, which is kind of a shame. Resident Evil, one of the best aspects of Resident Evil 5 was being able to trade resources back and forth. Like, okay, if somebody was if you were playing co-op, if your buddy was running out of ammo, you can give, and you had excess ammo of a certain type, you can give them the ammo that they needed. Now, this is counteracted in Resident Evil 6 with the fact that during the course of particularly a co-op playthrough, um, every, everybody gets a pickup. It's like, so if you broke a box and it had ammo for one person, it might have a healing item for the other, depending on what perks you had set up, which leads to talking about customization regarding individual perks that are unlockable with the game's skill points. I'll get to that in just a moment there. But the other thing about the inventory management in Resident Evil 6 is that the weapons did not take up valuable inventory space. They had like their own separate thing where you can swap between all the weapons you pick up over the course of the campaign. So you start off with the character's unique starter weapons, but as you come across the shotguns, the bear commanders, and assault rifles and so forth, it's like, okay, the characters can freely swap between them while also having, again, their own unique weapons that they start with. For example, Sherry has a triple shot pistol. Ada has a crossbow. So again, kind of real cool there. Again, the weapons are kept separate from the basic inventory, so all you really have to worry about is managing your ammo, your grenades, your healing items, and so forth. Combining the herbs is real easy, as well as making sure like you can have them readily available and for like instant use for the RB button in case you find yourself in a bad way. So again, the fact that you don't have the ability to trade items back and forth is disappointing. But again, if you're playing a co-op in particular, you're going to have equal opportunity to have the same amount of ammo, same amount of resources over the course of the campaign anyway, or campaigns, which I'll get to in a moment. But again, customization with skill points, as I mentioned, you can customize your experience. Where okay, you want to be have a stronger melee attacks. Okay, you can unlock that aspect and you can upgrade it. You want to have an easier time killing zombies or the Javos and so forth. So, well, there's a perk for that. There's also perks to unlock infinite ammo, depending on how much time you're sinking into the campaigns or the various extra modes like mercenaries and so forth. So it's like, okay, these are things that you can unlock to make things, again, to make the game unique for yourself. Again, if you're sinking, if you're able to sink hundreds of hours into like the various multiplayer formats, like mercenary mode, for example, okay, you can definitely turn this game into like just a wild shootout. Again, you can unlock infinite ammo for every weapon, so it's kind of cool there. The co-op experience, definitely a big refinement from Resident Evil 5. Resident Evil 6, you take that to where you have very unique paths depending on who you are playing as in each individual campaign. So you can see certain things play out differently depending on who you are. For example, let's take the end of Leon's campaign, the final battle against Simmons. Helena is going to end up separated up in a tall building, having to use a sniper rifle, providing long-range support to Leon, who is having to deal with Simmons head-on with an AI-controlled Ada at that point. While again, Leon, if you're playing as Leon, you're dealing with Simmons head on, while again Helena is again up on a high perch. So that scene is plays out very differently depending on who you are. Then of course you have over the course of the game where the characters get separated to navigate various puzzles. In the course of like Jake and Sherry's campaigns, there are certain areas that Jake can use his enhanced strength and to like navigate to open up paths for Sherry, and then there are certain things that only Sherry can do that she can fit through to open and unlock doors for Jake. So again, you get a nice little trade off there. Again, your perspective and how you see the story progress outside of cutscenes really can vary there. So you can have a unique experience again. So which also encourages the co-op there. It's like, oh, play the campaign. Like one person can play as the lead character first in the campaign, and then you do the campaign again when you just swap roles. Again, which is again for me, it's really cool. And since speaking of which, you get your medal system here, and it's like how much your accuracy, how long it took you, how many deaths you had. So you have like that nice display in between every single chapter. It's like it was perfect that it came up at this point in time. So let's get to the story and how it is presented. You have 4 individual campaigns: Chris, Leon's, Ada's, and Jake's. And you're seeing the story of events told from different points of view, where there is quite a lot of crossover between all 4 campaigns, all 4 of the individual campaigns. One could argue most definitely arguments say that Ada's campaign is the one you should play last because it's the most spoiler filled in terms of explaining like certain plot points as well as and also filling in the gaps of how certain things take place during the course of the game, such as Ada's interfering and rescuing Sherry off of a barge where the unkillable and seemingly unkillable chainsaw monster is bearing down on her. Like, where was Ada at during that? And you get to see that in Ada's campaign. That same element there. Then you have like where were, say, Jake and Sherry coming from when they run across Chris and Pierce for the first time. So just being able to see that we're all the crossover and like how many times these characters find each other, it's really cool, and it's really well done as far as I'm concerned. So a lot of effort was put into continuity and to make sure everything makes sense. Again, I definitely enjoyed the story there. Now, the one big negative aspect of it is there is no one really playing the game online these days here in 2023. So going through and wanting to go after, say, the multiplayer medals and achievements and trying to do all that is virtually impossible. It still works. It's much like with Resident Evil 5. It's the multiplayer, like beyond co-op for the campaigns. It still works. It's just like nobody's playing it. So unless you're going into every mode solo, it's like, okay, it's great for like maybe like a casual grind at this point, particularly Mercenaries mode. But everything else, you're kind of like a SOL for wanting to play. So unless you're coordinating and getting a lot of folks around to want to play those modes for trying to get achievements and stuff like that, you're SOL. So that's kind of like the worst aspect of it. But that's not the fault of the game. It's just more of like, okay, this is an older game that I played for the first time here in 2023. There's also another negative aspect here, and it has more to do with like achievement registration or popping up on the Xbox side of things. Like I completed the game fully in terms of all 4 campaigns, every single chapter completed, but some achievements did not pop for specific chapters. For me, it was like chapter 2. The achievement didn't pop for Jake's campaign. And oddly enough, the final achievement for completing Chapter 5 of Ada's campaign did not pop, which, again, really freaking weird that it didn't, with that being the case, it's like, which is funny because you have like this section for like customize like your name tags, dog tags, it's like change how it looks, emblems, and so forth, and that in-game checklist of like achievements and objectives shows that I completed it. So, and it's not like the achievements have popped at a later time, which they didn't. It's like, again, it's really weird and very peculiar. But again, but that's more of an issue with like the achievements themselves being glitched, and I had that same experience happen with like recently with Game of Thrones when I played the Telltale series with that, and also one of the variants of the Walking Dead Telltale series where achievements did not pop for completing chapters. But again, that's more of like the Xbox side of it being an issue with the achievement system than the game itself. So it's no fault of the game. Would I play Resident Evil 6 again? I feel like I would. Maybe go through it at a harder difficulty since I already unlocked various perks and stuff to make so it would make going through it, say, on normal difficulty, since I played originally on amateur difficulty. So going through it again at a harder difficulty, definitely has its appeal since I would have had certain aspects and perks unlocked to make it, to make a harder playthrough a little bit more easier or manageable. Kind of like this, it's similar to the same vibe as Resident Evil 5. And I definitely would prefer to play co-op because that, for me, is the best way to play a game like this. Is like, you will never see me play Resident Evil 5 solo. You will never see me play any of the Gears of War games solo. In terms of going through the main campaign, it's like if I'm playing those games, I want to have a co-op partner to play them, and that extends here to Resident Evil 6. So with that, we'll wrap this up here. If you have your own thoughts and opinions regarding RE6, leave them in the comments section. Like or subscribe and turn on notifications, all that jazz. Okay, there, YouTube is happy that that got said. And tighten your friendship bracelet, stay safe, and we'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.